In the heart of Africa, a high stakes negotiation is unfolding. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, or the DRC, a land rich in resources but plagued by conflict, is in daily talks with the US, hoping to secure a minerals for security deal. At the core of this discussion lies a harsh reality. While the DRC holds some of the world's most valuable minerals, it is also battling a growing insurgency. Eastern DRC has long been a battleground, with the armed rebel group M23 seizing territories brimming with gold and coltan, essential elements in modern electronics. The violence has claimed at least 7,000 lives since January this year, with countless others displaced. For President Felix Tshisekedi, stopping M23's advance is not just a military priority, it's a political necessity. The government is searching for allies. It has seen how the US is negotiating with Ukraine, a war-torn nation now considering giving Washington a 50% stake in its mineral revenue in exchange for long-term financial and military support. Inspired by this, the DRC has sent officials to Washington, hoping to secure a similar deal. But unlike Ukraine, which is at the center of a geopolitical struggle, the DRC faces a different challenge. Its conflict is fueled not just by rebels, but by global powers vying for control of its vast mineral wealth. Now let's see what is on the table. The proposed deal is ambitious. Congolese lawmakers have floated the idea of granting US companies access to DRC's mines and a joint mineral stockpile in exchange for military training, equipment, and possible direct support from American forces. Such a deal would mark a major shift in Trump's policy. You see, Trump talks about America first, vowing to not take part in stupid wars, but here you have minerals worth billions or maybe trillions at stake, which are required to maintain USA's supremacy in several sectors. So, what I think is that a full-scale US troop deployment is unlikely, very, very unlikely. Sorry, no boots on the ground. Instead, Washington may opt for supplying military equipment and intel support. The DRC's troubles do not exist in isolation. M23's rise is tied to tensions with neighboring Rwanda, which the UN and the US accuse of secretly backing the rebels. Rwanda's president Paul Kagame denies these claims but has historically sent troops into DRC, saying, "Oh look, we have to protect Rwandan-speaking Congolese Tutsis from persecution." The conflict has a long history. During the 1994 Rwandan genocide, Tutsis fled into the DRC, and since then, allegations have flown in both directions. Rwanda claims the DRC harbors Hutu militias involved in the genocide, while the DRC insists Rwanda is exploiting its resources under the cover of M23's insurgency. And now EU is getting involved there too. It is a mess, complete mess, and EU anyway turns everything into shit. The EU is considering a deal with Rwanda that would allow it to supply tantalum and other minerals. And how can we forget China? Xi Jinping. For decades, China has ruled over the DRC's mining industry, with 9 of the biggest cobalt mines in the country's southern Kantaga region run by Chinese operators. Former Congolese President Joseph Kabila signed minerals for infrastructure deals with China, but these have been criticized for lacking transparency. Now, under Tshisekedi, the DRC is looking to diversify its partners. The country has recently inked agreements with the EU and India. And now the US is being courted as a potential counterweight to China's influence. But Washington is in a tricky position. While it wants access to critical minerals for its tech and defense industries, it does not want to get involved too much. Then what's next? The US has signaled cautious openness to the DRC's proposal. A State Department spokesperson acknowledged the DRC's significant share of the world's critical minerals, adding that Washington aims to boost private sector investment in a responsible and transparent way. However, what I believe is the US is unlikely to own or operate mines, as Congolese officials have suggested. Instead, the more realistic scenario would see Washington buying minerals directly from the government, allowing China to remain the dominant player in the mining operations. Meanwhile, the war rages on. M23 continues to seize territory, inching closer to Valley Calais, a major mining hub. Even if the US provides military equipment, experts warn it may take years to reform and strengthen the Congolese military. For the DRC, time is of the essence. If a deal with the US does not materialize soon, other global powers will step in as minerals keep flowing out of the country, sometimes legally, sometimes through smuggling. The battle over the DRC's resources may only be the beginning. That's all for today. Thanks for watching Global News Factory. Bye bye. Take care. Have a nice day.